Ever since I first watched Hunter x Hunter in 2016, I tried to seriously consider what my Nen ability would be. I looked at all the characters' powers and even tried to think of some new ones that I could have, but none of them ever stuck. I only knew that none of what I thought of would be right for me. But finally, after 6 years, I figured out the perfect one for me. Now you're probably wondering, what ability did you end up choosing in the end? Well, it's actually one that I think may surprise you all. My Nen ability would be similar to Castro's double, but more perfected. Why choose the same ability that a weak and overall irrelevant character had, you might be asking? He was even a character that died because of his poor choice in this ability, I know. I'll get to that piece in a second, but I'll first explain why I chose this specific power. I've always wanted a brother that I could do things with when I was growing up. That's not to say I was lonely or anything. I had guy cousins that I enjoyed my youth with, but having a brother my age that I could always do things with was something I wished for. I dreamed of playing one-on-one with myself or boxing with myself and all that, like having a twin at my disposal essentially. Even sometimes when I'd go on walks or to the store or the train or something alone, I'd wish I'd had someone I could talk to that was literally me, but not internally. We'd have the same sense of humor and everything since we'd literally be the same person. I'm sure I'd get tired of that self soon enough, but that's the least of the issue. And since I'm a natural conjurer, I'd have an easier time producing the ability and mastering it. One of our protagonist boys, Kurapika, being a conjurer, didn't influence my idea of falling into that category. Conjurers are said to always be anxious, careful, overly serious, observant, etc. And ever since I was small, I'd be anxious or paranoid about everything. Like if something cringy would be happening on a TV show, I'd have to change the channel because I'd be too nervous about what would happen and what the response or consequence would be. They say Nen is developed from your deepest desires, so maybe I would have even developed this Hatsu subconsciously. Anyways, the double I'd produce would be a carbon copy replica of me and share my brain, but be able to do things independently. Reason being so that I could talk or play basketball with him without giving him inputs and outputs manually. Obviously, I'd have the power to recall him at any time, so it wouldn't be problematic. Now, something you might have been waiting for is the condition. The condition is that for every minute I use this doppelganger, I need 1 hour of sleep for it within the last 48 hours. Meaning that in the past 2 days, if I sleep for 18 hours, I can only use the ability for 18 minutes. It would be straining and draining since I'd mostly be relying on conjuration. Now, if you've already read the manga, you know that there's 2 characters with similar abilities to this, being Hanzo and Tufty. However, I think this is different and doesn't require as much omission or manipulation. The restriction I'd have would be that when the double is active, I cannot use any Nen to protect my real self, relying only on the double. I'd also only be able to ever send out 1 double. It seems idiotic and impractical to not be able to use Nen on my real body, but I wouldn't use this power to primarily fight, so it fits its desired role. There isn't Hunter x Hunter in real life after all. Though I still have to work on my other senses and affinities, I'm sure everything would work out. The more I get used to the ability too, I'm sure I'd find more and better convenient uses for it. Like when I'm on one side of a room or a hallway, I could enable the double and pose him as my true self. Since we'd have the same brain, upon the time of release, he'd already know what plan I had in mind for him. And I think I'm a decent enough guy, so I don't think the double would try to rebel against me. Not that he could anyway, since, I could expel him. And if fighting is really the base of what all Nen should be used for, I think I'd use the power as such. I'd send out the double posing as myself for the entirety of a fight while watching from the sidelines in secret or spectator stand like in Heaven's Arena. The possibilities are truly endless when it comes to the uses and even abilities you could use. Another reason of why I believe Nen is one of, if not the best power system in all of fiction.